Welcome back to Behind the Breaks. We're excited this week. We've got Brian, one half of Pocket King Cards. The guy's awesome, really genuine dude, really great story, and we want this community to rally around him and help him get to where he wants to go.
Yeah, definitely, Matt. Everything that he's done with TikTok so far and where he's progressing, I can't wait to see what he does in the future. Let's get into it.
Welcome in, Mr. Brian, Pocket King Cards, one half of the dynamic duo there. Welcome into the show, man.
Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course, man. So we're just going to dive right in to start talking about your story. So what's your story? When did you guys start getting into the cards? And let's go back to your youth, I guess. And, were you a card collector as a youth?
Yeah, so for me, it started, I live in Los Angeles, and in elementary school, the Los Angeles Police Department started giving out Dodgers trading cards. They were a little bit oversized, and it was after the 1981 World Series. And so that was my introduction to trading cards. I acquired a couple cards from the 70s around that same time, but didn't think much of it. I certainly didn't put them in my bicycle tires.
Yeah.
But they just ended up in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah. And so you just kind of went with it. The cops gave you the cards and you're like, this is cool. You're a Dodgers fan, which we will discuss later, but started going with it there. Is that how it was?
Yeah, it was very short-lived for me. When I became a teenager, I did things that teenagers do, and that usually doesn't include collecting sports cards. I sort of moved away from it. And then around 19 or 20, I was out on my own, and my roommate and I just decided one day, let's go get some baseball cards. I don't even remember how it came up.
That's cool.
And we went and just started ripping packs of 1989 Topps and 1990 Donruss, and certainly looking for all those fake error cards. And
yes.
I think that Ken Griffey from that era, like he had like the scar on his elbow, and like it's like that one card alone has got like 7 different errors on it.
Yes,
it's crazy.
Yeah, birthday is wrong, copyright's not there. I've seen it all because I've been guilty of looking as well.
Yeah.
So in your teenage years, the cops didn't come around anymore, or you just knew how to run from them? What's the story, Brian?
I don't know if the cops came around, but I wasn't as friendly with them as I was prior to my teenage years.
It's a whole different experience, right? So did you guys hit anything monster when you were the 19-year-old Brian?
I don't know that there was anything monster. I mean, that was the junk wax era. I collected from maybe 89 to probably 92, 93. So it was really the height of the junk wax era.
Yeah, but there's some monster players in there at that time, right?
I have a ton of monster player cards, but what I thought was going to happen with those cards when I had them at that time did not happen. I will tell you, I did buy a sealed box of 1989 Upper Deck, and I kept it sealed for 30 years.
Yeah.
Nice. And then just last year, I said I have to know what the Griffey looks like, and
and go on.
And I ripped into that.
How'd it look?
Obviously, I'm a little biased, but to me, it looked perfect. It looked certainly a 10.
Yeah.
But I sent it in and I got an 8.
Yes.
Let me guess.
The coveted 8.
PSA?
PSA.
And how many years did it take you to get back?
Well, I actually paid the extra money. I paid for the value.
Okay.
The value plus package. So I actually got it back, I think within a month.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy about getting it back, actually.
Yeah, I really find with stuff like that, because like I've even sent like some Jordans in, stuff like that you're like, this looks totally perfect. And then it comes back like 7, 8, or I think we even got like one sent back that they said the card size was just a smidge off, and it was like 1/8 of an inch off of like a normal card size. And I'm like, all right, I missed that one, but I feel like they grade some of those guys a little bit harder. Because they're like, we can't have all these 10s out here. But I'm like, but if it's a 10, it's a 10.
It's a 10, a 10. Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah. And this is where I plug AI for card grading. Take the human out of it. Just be fair. We've talked about this, RJ. We've had a few podcasts about it. AI, it's fair. Let's do that. But anyway, so you got stung a little on that Griffey. Do you still have it?
Yeah,
Did you put it up somewhere?
No. I'm actually considering cracking it and resending it in. I'm convinced there's fingerprints on it or something that I just missed. I showed it to people at card shows, and there wasn't a single person that said that this shouldn't at least be a 9, 5, 10.
Yeah. Wait, isn't PSA out there in LA? You should go knock on their door. Yeah, you should go knock on their door. Excuse me.
From what I heard, it just depends on who's looking at the cards on any particular day. So what do I have to lose?
What do you have to lose, man? Give it a shot.
I know everyone's got their theories, right? It's like, oh, you put the stuff that you think is going to be a 10 first, and then you put like higher end stuff first, and then you put, I'm like, it's all a crapshoot. It's how that person's feeling that day. And they're just like, all right, let's mark it an 8.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. Any others from that bunch from that box that you ripped open 30 years after the case? Anything else?
I pulled out everything that is worth over, I don't know, $4 or $5. Obviously it's got the Randy Johnson in there. There's a Bo Jackson in there. There's a lot of cards in there that are value. I put them all in sleeves and top loaders.
Yeah.
I have the Bo Jacksons, the football, baseball Bo Jacksons from the score set. And so I have tons of those guys from that era.
Yeah.
But certainly not what I thought was going to happen. Certainly didn't happen.
Yeah.
I will say though, in 95, when Hideo Nomo came to town, I went nuts and maxed out some credit cards. As a young adult to get as many Hideo Nomo cards as I could. And
how'd that work out for you?
Although that didn't work out for me, I did end up, by chasing Nomo, end up with quite a few Jeters and Chipper Jones. And
there you go. Now you're talking.
A-Rod. So that was a good time.
Yeah. Well, I like that. Awesome. I like a couple of those names. A-Rod, I'm not sure of. I'm not sure of A-Rod. I actually watched a highlight yesterday of him with Texas. He was incredible. But anyway, I digress. So, okay, you're moving on. You get older in life, and how did it turn into where we're at now, where you guys are kind of genning up the Pocket Kings, and you're doing business now, man? What's that about?
Yeah. So I basically got away from it after 95. And I moved, I don't even know how many times I moved, probably 20 times between 95 and 2023.
Yeah.
And every time I moved, I had people, friends, family cursing me for dragging these boxes of cards around from house to house.
We're laughing because we've been there, and
what? At some point I'm going to pass away and my kids are just going to be like, the hell is this guy doing?
Yep. Yeah, I have those same thoughts.
Dad had a problem.
So 2022, 2023, I was reading an article about the 68 Ryan Koosman card and about how much it's worth right now. And I thought, I know I have that card. And so I went through every single box that I had of cards, only to remember that I actually never had that card. But
trying to manifest it, right?
I thought for sure that I had that card, and I was sorely disappointed, but it actually got me back into cards and got me here today. So sorting through those cards and just the thrill of finding certain cards again and realizing that I had a card or that I still wanted a card. It brought it all back for me.
Well, hold on a second, because we're all wondering now, how much is that card worth? What did you say, Koosman, 68?
Yeah, so it's the Nolan Ryan rookie card. It had Jerry Koosman on it as well. Actually, I haven't looked in a while because I don't have it. But
okay, well,
it was.
You're hunting for it, right?
It was like $1,500 or something like that.
Wow, nice. So keep an eye out if you're listening. Brian at Pocket Kings is looking for that 68 card there. It's a Nolan Ryan guy. I can appreciate that. The old school guys, you got to love those guys. The greatest fight ever in baseball. Am I wrong? The greatest fight ever.
Robin Ventura, for sure.
I hear Nolan Ryan loves signing that picture, which at some point I'm just waiting for them to come out with the card with it, right? They
have to.
An auto on it. Yeah.
I just like that the next pitch he's covered in blood and he does it. He can just start. He was like, I got this. I'm fine. Everything's fine. All right. Yep. So you look for the Koosman. You got back into it. Everything's great.
Yep.
Go. Yeah.
And so I discovered Whatnot and found people selling on TikTok and just started watching more and reading more and learning more about the hobby today because it's just completely different from the first two times I was collecting.
Yeah.
And I reconnected with a friend of mine recently over another friend of ours that just passed away,
Mm.
and found out that he had a pretty significant card collection as well. And his collection was all pretty much newer stuff, high end downtowns, kabooms, autos, patch cards, none of the vintage stuff, none of the junk wax stuff. So I thought, you know what? I actually just became an approved seller on Whatnot. Why don't we put our collections together and see what happens? There are a lot of people that are looking for your cards when they come into my show. I don't have anything to show for it, vice versa. So
Yeah.
I'm a big poker fan,
Yeah.
player, and we're both LA Kings fans. So we collaborated and came up with Pocket Kings sports cards.
Nice.
I
yeah.
love it. Yeah. It took me a couple minutes, I'm not going to lie to you, to come up with the Pocket Kings and tie that together, but I did it. So very nice. Real quick, let's back up. So when you discovered Whatnot, because I remember when I discovered it,
I remember when you discovered it as well, Matt.
and so does his wife and my wife. But it was pretty profound, at least for me. I was like, wow, this is a completely different hobby, right? So, I mean, was that the same experience for you guys when you looked at this, when you called your buddy and you're like, hey man, we can do something here? Is that how it was?
Yeah, completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. That's
Go ahead,
exactly right. You have your single shows, you have your storage locker shows where they're just selling boxes and bundles and lots, and then you've got your breakers. I think he watched more of the break shows, and I watched more of the singles and lots. I did my share of buying singles on Whatnot before I realized if I'm actually going to try and do this right, that's not the way to go.
All right.
Neither is ripping packs, although I really enjoy doing that.
We all do,
But,
man. It's a sickness,
it is a sickness.
but we all have it.
But I like buying boxes of cards that I haven't seen every card in the box and just hoping to find something. And occasionally I do. I bought a box of NBA cards recently. It was listed as random NBA cards. And
was he in there?
So there was a massive Jordan shadow card collection in there. So they weren't the actual Jordan cards, but there are a number of shadow cards, as I'm sure you're aware. And there was a massive collection of these shadow cards. So I was thrilled to find those.
Man, that's why I buy lots. I mean, that's why I go to garage sales. I mean, I'm not a big basketball guy, but I mean, if you're into cards, you're buying the basketball cards just for that chance. You're looking. And also, let's just recognize, RJ, I know you're about to say something. The fact that all I had to do say was he in there? And we know there is no other sport and no other athlete where I could say that. I mean, am I right?
You're talking about Dikembe Mutombo. What are you talking about?
Well, there you go.
No? No?
I have one daughter whose first name is Jordan and another daughter whose middle name is Jordan. So,
nice.
Okay, there you go. Well, completely understandable. I mean,
I knew who you were talking about.
Yeah.
So when you found the lot, when you're looking for lots, like how do you look for a lot or buy a lot? Is it through social media? Is it through like Craigslist? Are you just trying to find stuff through eBay as like a bunching, or is it like Matt goes garage sales a lot? Like, what's your process when you kind of try to find, stuff to add to the collection that you just want to kind of take a look through?
So as of right now, it's solely on Whatnot, and I like to find obviously sellers who aren't really in the card business. They're just into moving massive amounts of product.
Nice.
Sometimes they say they don't know what's in the box. Sometimes they say that they don't care what's in the box. Either way, I'm excited to buy that box. I also like it when there's not a lot of people in the room, obviously.
Right.
But I would like to add to the toolbox swap meets and garage sales and Facebook Marketplace. Actually, I will say I reached out to somebody on Facebook Marketplace who was selling a box of cards, and I actually asked, have you already gone through these? Are these inherited? And He said, no, I'm a collector. I've already gone through it. It's basically just
Yeah, I
commons.
love the honesty there.
Yes.
Yeah, like some of those are just gems because like I came across one time and I paid $50 for it through Facebook Marketplace, and I ended up getting it back because I saw that there's like some 70s Star Wars in there, the blue, the Series 1. I was just like, all right, I got to check this out. I have no idea, right? But like I know at least something's there, and it had almost everything. I think it was missing like 2 or 3 cards. I'm like, I still have the Luke card, but we sold everything else, the Vader, like everything else we just sold. So I'm like, I'm just gonna hang out of this one card, but like, and then we're pulling like a 1980s like Hulk Hogan out, and like things that I'm just like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
That you get to like kind of go through what someone else at that point was just like, I gotta collect these cards, but unfortunately they lost interest, but it's interest to me, and I'll take it. So
We'll take it. Yeah, we do the same, Brian. We have a kind of a system. It's funny you mentioned, maybe it's not funny. It's not usually funny to me, but they say, I don't know what's in here, but I'll send. So what happens is I'll send a link to RJ, and I'll be heading to go look, and I'm like, hey, check this out, because RJ's got the deep knowledge on our team here.
You give me too much credit, man. I don't have this.
No, you have far more than me, and it's fine. I'm not, which is probably easy.
I keep the baseball almanac next to me. I'm just like
he does, and he's always waiting for me just to message him, and that's what he does. No, anyway, but he'll be like, hey, this dude doesn't know what's in there, but he pulled out the big cards from it, and they're laying on top just randomly, right? So we've kind of picked, well, at least when he gives me that feedback, and now I'm starting to look like, yeah, you know what's in here, because the Bob Euchre sitting on top with the Dr. J rookie card or whatever that lot was we got. But we do the same. But I got to think, man, you're in prime real estate out there in LA. I mean, Craigslist and Marketplace, like you said, they've got to be just ripe for the picking.
There are tons of people on Facebook Marketplace that are listing boxes of cards in LA. I'm actually north of Los Angeles, so it would be a bit of a drive to go down into the city, and I do have a full-time job.
Yep.
But I haven't really found somebody that I'm confident that what they're selling is actually worth making that drive for. So.
No, I feel you. We did an interview. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it. Blue Collar, the guy, he's awesome human being, number one, but he has made, I dare I say, a living, but he's hit a gold mine. He's figured out the magic sauce. He finds collections, and then he jumps on. So again, if you're listening, his shows are awesome. He does it. He just takes a collection and he grabs a stack and he just starts running them at $1, and it's a lot of fun, but he's figured out the magic sauce. I don't know where he's getting them, but he's doing that, and he's doing well with it. So let's keep pressing along on that thing, huh? Get those shows going.
I did listen to it.
Oh, you did?
Listen
Good.
To that show, and I actually think I follow him if it's the same person.
Yeah.
He did a TikTok recently where he was announcing the cards, and he filmed himself and his wife packaging the cards, getting ready for shipping.
That is him. Yep. They do that. They do a show, and they just talk to a great human being, man. Really good dude. And he's doing it right, and he's having fun with it. So I am guilty of buying cards from him as well. It's the curse of doing the podcast. I call it research, right? I've got to get to know these guys. So I'll probably be in your next show, buying your cards too. So let's talk about how we came to connect, because I think that's the best part of this entire story, your journey. I'm a Hallmark guy, right? I get teary-eyed at those things. Your daughter posted on TikTok. Talk us through that. Tell us what happened.
So we got invited to participate in the Whatnot Card Show 6 weekend. And so we signed up for 3 shows. We signed up for a Friday night, a Saturday afternoon, and a Sunday morning. We did the Friday night show. I was really impressed with our setup. I took over the kitchen. We laid out the entire, 8-foot table was covered, and we were really happy with it. About 20 people maybe showed up. Nobody stayed, and we didn't make a penny.
Yeah.
And so afterwards, we stayed on 4 hours, 6 to 10 that night. So afterwards, my friend, the other half of Pocket Kings, left.
Yep.
And I was sitting at the table, just sort of trying to figure out what needs to happen to be more successful tomorrow.
Right.
And it was about 11:30 that evening. And my wife came by and she said, Jordan, my daughter, wants to see your setup. And so she sort of walked around and she filmed me. I thought she was just taking pictures, but I was deep into my hot wash trying to figure out how to improve.
There you go.
And then the next day, we did the Saturday show. And afterwards, my other daughter came home from work and she seemed particularly concerned. And I was just sitting there again at the table trying to figure out, okay, how to do better the next day. We had one more show. We made $58 on Saturday, by the way.
There you go.
We met a few more people, so it was nice. And she just leaned over and she said, "Are you sad?" And I said, "No, I'm not sad. Why would I be sad? You know how much I love this." And I said, "I'm a little disappointed that we're not doing a little bit better than we thought, but I'm not sad. Why?" And she said, "Have you seen Jordan's TikTok?" And I said, "No." And so she proceeded to show me my daughter's TikTok. This is a brand new TikTok page that she just started. She had 4 videos on it where she's just talking about trying to get back into college track.
Yeah.
And 4 videos. And then she makes this TikTok. And it's basically my dad did his first show and nobody came and nobody showed up. And it had some very sad music and birds chirping in the background.
I think it was Sarah McLachlan or something.
Yeah.
I actually felt like it made me look pretty pathetic, to be honest with you.
I didn't think so.
Well, thank you. I immediately went onto her TikTok and I commented and I said, she said, "When nobody shows up." And I said, "That's not at all what happened. People came. We had a nice conversation about sports, which I love. Just nobody bought anything." And so fast forward, we do the Sunday show. During the Sunday show, 2 people show up who said they found us on TikTok. I had started a Pocket King Sports Cards TikTok, so I had to ask, was that our TikTok or my daughter's TikTok? And they both said, "Your daughter's TikTok." And so I sort of started to get the feeling that something was happening here. We, unrelated to her TikTok, we sold about $1,200 on Sunday.
Awesome.
And
there you go.
Yeah. I say unrelated because neither of the 2 people that said they found us on her TikTok bought anything. But as soon as the show ended, again, my friend left and my daughter sent me a text. It was probably 30 minutes after the show ended. Sent me a text and said, "Help." And it showed 8,000 views of that video on her TikTok.
Yes.
And
Nice.
comments. And for the next 8 hours, when I was supposed to be putting the kitchen back together, I could not put my phone down. It was just, I guess I call it going viral. It was just exploding.
Yeah.
And I was responding to comments on TikTok. And I thought, I'm struggling to respond to people on Whatnot. Now I got to look on TikTok, and not just messaging me on TikTok, but in the comments, responding to comments in the particular video, and then going to our page and then commenting on those videos. So immediately I was excited and overwhelmed all at the same time. But
yeah, man.
There's well over 70,000 views of that video now. And we had 22 followers on TikTok that Friday, our Pocket King Sports Cars TikTok. And today there's over 1,100 followers on that TikTok.
Nice.
And I think we had 316 followers on Whatnot. We're over 550 now.
Good for
Awesome.
you guys, and big love to Jordan for just loving her, and good for you for raising the kid right, number one. And also, what does that say about the community? That's what I love about it. You know, people are always, give each other a hard time, but at the end of we want to see everybody have fun and succeed. So that was, to me, I was one of the people that saw it. I commented. I actually think I said, "Well, what's his handle? We got to get over there and follow this guy." So yeah, good for her. That was such a cool story, and to see you thrive. And also, man, what's her percentage of that cut on the Sunday show? Come on, Dad.
So I'm not going to get into that right now, but to be honest with you, most of the cards that sold immediately following that were from my friend's newer Downtown Kaboom collection.
Nice.
And he certainly is making sure that she's taken care of.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just teasing, but good for her. Good for you guys, man. But no, that's such an awesome story. And also, everybody that jumped in there to support you and lift you up. But man, that's a heck of a increase. 058 to 1,200 in 3 days. Good for you guys, man.
Yeah, I just gotta say, like, the mentality behind it, right? Like how you're going, like, first show, right? It's you're not hitting the numbers that you think that you're going to project to, right? And that's part of this, right? Is the perseverance side of going, we just got to push through. What can we learn from it? What can we do better? Consistency. Is it this type of car? Is it this, and that's awesome. Like, you've already committed to that, but like even pushing through that and just going, I'm not going to let this shake me. We're just going to go again. We got 20 the next night and, $48 and like, and then at some point magic does happen, right? In this case, it was, TikTok, or you get the right, 2 or 3 people in your room that for some reason are just like, people at a roulette table where it's all just cheers and everyone's just like, bidding on stuff. And you're like, what is happening right now? It's really the magic of the app. And it's fantastic when it starts to pop off.
Yeah, it can suck you in. It's fun.
I am honestly super grateful for what she did. I don't know that she did it or expected what happened for that reason, but I love her to death and so appreciate it. But to your point, the comments were not, oh, how sad, let's lift dad up. It was the community that came out, and so many people saying, oh, I'm in the same boat, and what are we going to do to make things better? And there's another guy, I just saw his TikTok yesterday and I commented, and he basically just moved over to Whatnot. And he was asking, what do you do when your first couple of shows after like an hour just feel like they're not working?
Yep.
And how do you get better? And all the comments were, that's the way it is for everybody. You just have to deal with it and not give up. So
yeah,
we've done both sides, right? We've done breaks, or we do breaks and we do single shows. And I feel like it's a lot more like that in a break, right? Because in a break, you're almost saying the same thing. Like, hey, we have a box of this and we're going to open it. And this is where like single shows, at least with that, there's variety, right? If something doesn't run, you can pull something else. And you're like, oh, remember this guy and he did this stuff. And so it's both. Almost any kind of show that you run has a whole different atmosphere to it. It's just like all how you handle it. And definitely there are lulls in any show. But yeah, it's just that whole, you push through and you keep on going until you find that one stack of cards or that one thing that like, once again, sets off someone to be like, all right, yeah, let's do this. Let's put a bid in. Let's, get going, or let's start a great conversation on, whatever it might be. Right.
Yeah, the draft, this, that, or the other, season starting. So Brian, this is a good opportunity. The community dove in and kind of lifted you guys up and got you a little bit of momentum. So let's give some tips. Let's give a couple tips from your perspective as you guys have come together. You guys are building something. What are some tips that you've got for people that are interested? You mentioned people reach out to you. Hey, what do you do? So what are some tips that you would give as advice to folks?
Honestly, I think I'm probably falling behind on that. I think I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But the 2 weeks since then have been just extremely busy, both at work and at home.
Yep.
We have a daughter who plays college softball, and she's been in town the last couple of weekends as the season's winding down, and so my weekends have just been taken up with that.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, I dumped a bunch of boxes and started sorting through cards, and I listened to one of your podcasts, and your family member Brian is just a legend in my book, and how he goes about sorting is just, it's mind-boggling to me. And if you could ask him a question for me,
do it right now, man. Ask him.
I am fully aware of sorting by team and then by player alphabetically. That seems to make the most sense. But from a business perspective, when I buy a lot from somebody and I know how much I spent on those cards, I feel like I need to keep track of how much I want to sell those cards for, or how much I sold those cards for, to know whether this is a good business or a bad business. Right. And to take them from one lot and not mix them up with what makes sense to put them with cards in another lot is just, I'm struggling with that. So, yeah. And also we had people come in our show and just ask for the orange cracked ice of a particular year. I'm collecting all the orange cracked ice from this year. Well, that's not how mine are sorted. So
yeah, I can help a little bit on this one. Yeah. So, cause I'm at Brian's quite a bit. So, yeah, cause we have right, the show and the stuff that we run and whatnot, but then a lot of the stuff that he's talking about, how he has those sorted, are specific for the eBay store. So when he knows he's selling, online, like that's why it's like a library catalog. You can just go through and pull it out and be like, this is exactly where the card needs to be. Where our sorting for the whatnot show, I have, if like the single shows, I have containers next to me, and I have the containers labeled if it's an insert, and I only put insert like numbered parallel in that one, and one in autos, one is patches, one is, so then that way I can grab stacks and it's just all intermixed, right? Because at that point you're just showcasing, right? But as far as recording and saying like, hey, is this a value of not, like we have our higher end stuff, because I'll even have bins that I'm like, I know this card is $10 and above, like a $10 to $20 bin, a 20 plus bin if we have those, right? So then that way I know I can pull a couple out and I can kind of use some of the ones that I knew that I got for under $1 or 50 cents or whatever and combine them. But then so they kind of all intermix at that point. So if someone is asking for a specific, like I just want Orioles, like I'll run a card and I'll try and sort through a stack real quick to see if I can pull anything else out. But it's kind of like it's a little bit of a crapshoot as you go, but you start to kind of find your flow with it. But as far as like his sorting, yeah, that's more on the eBay store side. And then on the other, because we've thought about doing that for the whatnot shows, but you're right, it just gets too much. People will come in and be like, hey, where's your Ellie, and where's your, this specific card, and where's your Jackson Merrills at, and stuff like that. I'm like, I have some and I'll keep them to like my left, but I won't run them all at the same time, because I like to parse those out throughout a show. Because I know that person wants to come in and buy at that moment, but I don't know if it's going to get a higher crowd or a lower crowd. And I want to, at any point, like I said, when a show lulls, I have a card I know I can pull over that's going to get bids, right? And so we actually have, I have a spreadsheet of everything I purchase. It's crazy, but everything I purchase, I do a card count on it, and then the pricing I pay for it. And then we do an average dollar cost on that card. So I know, like, hey, no matter what, if we're at, I'll just use $1. If we're at $1 average per card, I know I can run like 3 of these starting at $2, and I'm not going to lose my butt, but I might get that bid above, and I can add to it if I want to, or whatever it might be. So like I said, it's just, we took a while to kind of figure that out, and it's kind of working for us at this moment. But at any point that can change with, especially, Brian on his, sorting side, but yeah, he's definitely a savant on that side.
Exact. Yep.
I was there the other day, and I was like, when we were running our single show, I was like, hey, I need a couple more, numbered cards of this. He's like, I got you, don't worry. And he just literally starts plucking stuff out, and he's like, here's 20, run these. He's like, we'll pull them off the eBay store. He's like, we're good. So yeah,
Nice.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Brian's a special person. I mean, sometimes I just have to get out of his way, because I know that he's so dialed in. He's got it mastered. I'm not organized like that. So we're very lucky that the third leg of the 2 packs a day is that organized.
It needs to be 3 packs a day now, right? Like we
gotta up our packing.
2 packs a day with Brian. Yeah,
there you go. But he is very good at that. But I think like RJ said, it's we've evolved so much. In fact, recently we just started back on Whatnot a few weeks ago now, and we completely deconstructed the room we were using and rebuilt our setup from the ground up. And that's kind of one of the reasons we were looking at what works. First of all, what's the flow? What's to my right, what's to my left, and as RJ said, organizing to what it makes sense for how your shows are. And I think as you keep progressing with that, people understand, because I'm in shows. I think Blue Collar is one. Blue Collar will just run cards, and he'll say, yeah, if I come across it, I'll run it, but I'm running cards. And he does it 10 seconds, 20 seconds to keep everybody happy. But if it's a really small crowd and people are like, hey, I need Cedric Mullins from the Orioles, so then you have time to dig into it.
To Mace.
I know, right?
Yeah. We have always pops in. He's like, you got any Cedric Mullins? I'm like, maybe it's in the pile, but like, this is where like you have a partner, so this actually works for you, because there's a lot of people do this on their own, right? Which is it's fun, but it's difficult at that point if someone's asking for things. Because with Matt next to me or Brian next to me, if I'm running stuff on a show, I can be like, do we have Cedric Mullins? Can you guys look through some stuff for me? It really does help to have someone run the shows with you. Like, so kudos to anyone that does a single show or a show by themselves. Like, I can only imagine. I've done it a couple times, and I feel the frustration because sometimes you just feel overwhelmed. You got to push through that. But But yeah, it's just definitely trial and error on everything with flow. But like Matt had it right. Actually, as soon as you said, "Oh, I had it all spread out on my kitchen table," that's the first thing is you need space, because cards, no matter what, they take up a lot. And as a show is going on, right, you're sorting and putting stacks next to you, and you're going back to a different stack, and you're trying to figure it out. So, yeah, so it's a process, but
Yeah.
worth it.
Now you guys will find your rhythm though. Just it's a matter of just keep plugging away at it, and then you realize. I mean, honestly, and this is going to sound like I'm making a joke, but down to where the trash can is when you're breaking. Because if RJ's breaking, I'll throw the trash can next to him, and then realize that he's throwing the bags this way. So it's just down to that level of detail, because, you're breaking a ton of boxes. That stuff gets in the way, and you want to make sure the product is taken care of for the people that are spending their money on it. So it's just down to, again, we sat there recently in that room and said, okay, what makes sense for us?
Yeah, it's a couple hour meeting of like sitting in the chairs and going, like, it honestly was, it's like, all right, if I move this way, it's weird to kind of say that, right, of how much planning goes into it, but like to make stuff run as smoothly as possible, it's yep. part of that planning process.
You know what? If you don't love it as much as you do, then there's no way that's going to work.
Right.
I was going to say, as one of the tips, or another one of the tips, I would say, it really helps to have somebody in your live with you, because to try and carry on a conversation and also
Yep.
find the cards, just like you said, and put a label on them when somebody buys it, and put it over here. When you have two people in the room, for example. We so far we haven't done that many shows, but the ones that we've done, we've scheduled them around a game. So
nice.
We're together, we've eaten together, we set up, we plan together, and then the game starts and we go live. And we're basically watching the game while we're hanging out with anybody else that wants to hang out. If they want to see us stuff in our shop, or they want to ask us about what's on the table, if they want us to run stuff, then we're running it. But we're having a conversation about sports. And we actually, it was during that weekend, it was I think it was the Saturday game. It was the Dodgers and Phillies, and he was in Philadelphia rooting for the Phillies, and we were in LA rooting for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
it was
there
a
you
back
go.
and forth game. It was a really good game, but I think it added to the show, the conversation and the sports talk. So
it does. I think. I mean, even if I'm not buying, I'll go into like Formula One again, because that's my thing, and some of the price points just something I'm not really interested in, but I'm interested in the sport. So, having a conversation with the folks as they're breaking cards and, just talking about it, it's a form of entertainment at that point. So you're absolutely right. And we talk about it a lot. It's the entertainment factor, being able to carry on a conversation, being able to engage people. And RJ said it perfectly. If you're by yourself, we've done it by ourselves. When we initially got started, you're trying to read a thread, you're trying to make sure you're squared away, you're trying to make sure everything's working and looking good. It's very difficult. So the way we do it and the way you're doing it, having somebody there with you, it helps with that banter. It helps with keep the conversation flowing. And, like RJ's got his head down, really focused on what he's doing. Brian and I can engage that, the community or the customers or whatever. I mean, RJ, we learned recently, can make a pelican call. We had a guy in the break that I think we were at a kind of a stuck point, and his handle was something about Pelican State cards.
Pelican State, yeah, card.
Yeah, awesome guy, by the way, if you're listening, awesome guy. And we just started having a little fun with it, and it's just being able to engage, and people loved it, and we had everybody got involved.
We didn't run an auction, I think, for 2 minutes because I was doing like pelican calls. But you know what? Hey, like I don't even know what a pelican really sounds like. We're just kind of making up noises. But it got the comments started going, and people are kind of hanging out and just being like, all right, these guys, as long as you don't take yourselves too seriously, because that's the downfall of when you get into an area, and like once again, we've all been there, right? Frustration can set in sometimes. You just got to find a way to overcome that, because if you start to feel frustrated, the room, the chat and everybody in there feels it too. And you just got to kind of be able to push through that. So keeping that light and having, like you said, having a second person there, like really breaks it up, because at any point they can take over the conversation or, interject.
Give you a break.
Just sets it in a totally different direction.
Yep. I also ask a lot of people about where their names came from, why they came up with that name. And that helps too. So.
Yeah, it's just about that engagement and just having fun, and like, who are you chasing and why? I could probably tell 1,000 stories, but one that always sticks out to me, because of what happened that night. We had a guy from Philadelphia. He wanted the Phillies. He wanted Bryce Harper, and RJ helped me out. He had a redemption, Bryce Harper redemption, right?
Yeah, right.
And the guy was through the moon. He was excited, and come to find out, his daughter's name, he named his daughter Harper.
Wow.
And just, that it was just such an awesome thing. And then we were able to, as if we had any control, but he hit a redemption out of 5 of Bryce Harper. I mean, such an awesome experience. And then we had a guy hit a 1-of-1 Ozzie Smith superfractor. I think it was our first break. He wasn't in the break, but a bunch of dudes in the break knew him. So it was very late at night where he was at. They're texting him, he's going to blow his mind when he sees this show. So yeah, definitely having people there is huge. And one of the things that, and I'm sure you don't do it, but is when you get the person running the show gets angry at the people in the break or in the show, like screaming, guys, these spots should be going for $25.
Yeah.
Well, then don't run them for $1 then, bro.
Yep.
I mean, what do you want us to do? You're offering it for $1. I'm a consumer.
You're not even close. You're not even close.
Yeah, right.
I'm a consumer. If the gas station says I can pay a penny a gallon, I'm going to pay a penny a gallon. I mean, come on. So yeah, the good energy it always pays off. And that's one of the things that we look for is when we're looking for people to talk to on the podcast is, what's your energy like? I mean, are you yelling at people because they didn't pay enough for a spot? I'm not interested in talking to you. I mean, good luck to you. I wish you the best, but stop yelling at people. We work hard for our money, man.
That's somebody who needs to make that money for a living.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being into it because they're a sports enthusiast or they love sports or they love sports cards. It's a completely different community, to be honest.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, go, man.
I was just going to say, I know it's not F1, but just recently in a lot that I got was a Dale Jarrett patch card. It was a tire patch.
Oh, wow.
Dale Jarrett.
That's cool.
Nice.
And in the same box was a card. They're not on card autos, but they're printed autos of both Earnhardt and Earnhardt Jr.
There you go, man.
Very cool. My father-in-law is a big race fan, and I just gave him both those cards.
Love that. Good for you, man. Yeah, those NASCAR fans, that braking world is blowing up. People are loving that product and buying all that stuff. So good for you. I'm always hunting for the old F1 because they made old cards back in the early 2000s and then in the 90s. But now that the sport's blowing up in popularity, those cards like Lewis Hamilton's 2011 cards, like a $50,000 card.
Wow.
And I don't know that I could look my wife in the eye and say, hey, guess what I just did?
Yeah.
But,
Here's the deal. You tell me, and I'll break the news to her.
By the way, it's RJ's sister is my wife, so that would probably work because she's a huge fan of RJ's. But I still live in this house. I don't think it would go well. But so, what's next for you guys, man? As we kind of wind down, what are you guys doing next? What's the game plan? What are you going to do?
So, a ton of people have commented on the taxes and fees. Whether it be on eBay or whatnot or elsewhere, and how it's prohibitive to us coming to an agreement on a negotiation. And so I'm very interested in learning how people sell on other platforms, such as TikTok or elsewhere, and just trying to figure out that, like I said earlier, adding those tools to the toolbox and expanding a little bit. Now that we have the following that's bigger on TikTok, I'm watching a lot of people do the shows on there, and they're all very different on there as well. So I'm just doing a lot of research, and I'm trying to find the time to stay relevant so this doesn't just die off.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys do you have a show scheduled yet? Next show?
We don't have another show scheduled. Based on all the questions I've been getting, I'm just trying to sort as fast as I can, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And respond to the people that have asked for stuff. I don't want to leave anybody hanging. So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, try and engage your community. Good for you.
Yeah.
For a small fee, we'll send Brian your way, and he can have your stuff sorted in about 35 minutes, and you'll be happy as a peach, man.
Not a chance.
I'm kidding. He is truly remarkable. I appreciate you saying that because watching him do his thing, and we did that when we had him on the show. we had that challenge. The fact that he argued about what card we were asking for because he knew it wasn't in there, and he's like, "Well, wait a minute, RJ, which one?" He is that good. So appreciate you recognizing that.
I am not arguing his talents. I'm just arguing that I've got a wall of boxes of cards, and he couldn't do it in 35 minutes.
Oh, I saw it. I saw your TikTok post where you said, well, when your daughter posts and it goes viral and you realize you have to get ready. Yeah, you have a lot of cards, man. But I do have some in my garage you might be interested in. I think my wife might want her garage back soon. RJ, I don't know.
See, we'll have to just run a large lot show and just whatever. I don't know what's in this box. Just ship it out. Whatever.
We would need to back a U-Haul up to the house because I'm not kidding. I'm thinking 500, 600,000 cards in my garage right now. And, it's a lot, man, but it's fun.
All sports.
We have NBA, NFL, F1s in there.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of everything. Cause I think Brian already
hockey's in there.
Brian already pre-sorted it. So it's actually done alphabetically by team and, all that stuff. So,
and every week I go, and to my right here, there's like 5 stacks of cards because, I hit a garage sale and instead of sitting there and going through it, I just say, give it to me. Cause this is that era of basketball and who might be in there. Right. So he wasn't, by the way, he wasn't in there. So what I'm saying is these will just go into the lot. So what's happening is every weekend, the pile in my garage gets bigger. And I actually found a lost kitten in there. I don't want it. I'm kidding.
Don't tell my kids that.
I'm kidding. PETA. It's a joke. But no, man, hey, we really appreciate you having you. We want to have you on again. We want to watch you grow and blow up. So we're going to keep an eye out for your next show. When you guys get that scheduled, you can shoot me a text. We'll do what we can to, amplify and see if we can point people your way. RJ does shows for 2 packs a day during the week, single shows, and we break this Saturday night. We're having a break. So we'll throw your name out there, making sure people are, checking you out. We want to spread the love and make sure the community knows where you're at. So let us know what's going on, man. Is there anything else we should be looking out for from you guys next?
I so appreciate it. Like I said, we're just going to try and stay relevant. We are definitely going to schedule a Whatnot show soon. You're going to find us in your shows. We'll definitely be entering your shows.
All right.
And I want to, like I said, expand to the TikTok platform and see what it looks like to go live on TikTok and who shows up and what that looks like. So,
well, on the TikTok thing, let's stay in touch because we're kind of expanding our operations. That's something that I was looking at as well. I had traveled for work a little bit, so I looked at doing that versus Fanatics or whatever. But so let's stay in touch and see how that works for you, and we'll share notes and we'll all grow together because that's what this is about. All right,
really
man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much,
man.
Brian.
Great having you, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for listening to Behind the Breaks. We appreciate you being here with us and helping us grow this community. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.
Make sure to like, follow, or subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.